Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
When Theresa May lands in China this weekend for the G20 Leaders Summit, she might not be afforded the sort of welcome offered to her predecessor. One of her first acts as Prime Minister was to put on hold plans for the new nuclear power plant at Hinkley Point, approved by David Cameron and funded in part by the Chinese. It might mean some awkward questions when she arrives for the first such summit to be held in the country.
China takes great pride in hosting the G20 summit, a chance for the country to show it has arrived as a global superpower. Delegates being greeted with a full red carpet and military welcome. For President Xi, seen here greeting the leader of Indonesia, this is a defining moment in his leadership. And so too could it be for Britain's relationship with China. The Prime Minister will take her place among the world leaders arriving in Hangzhou, trying to prevent a Chinese chill turning into a freeze.
After Brexit, the UK will be less sexy, okay? So you need to make your efforts to attract foreign investment from anywhere, including from China.
Theresa May's decision to pause for thought on the Hinkley nuclear power plant has antagonised the world's second biggest economy. The Chinese particularly angered by a suggestion it was due to national security concerns. When within weeks of entering number 10, Theresa May put the brakes on the Hinkley Point nuclear project, she was deemed to have tarnished the so-called golden era in UK-China relations. She has since written to President Xi and said she hoped for constructive talks at this weekend's summit. A letter described in state media here as grovelling. China is set to invest £100 billion in the UK by 2025. That includes £6 billion for the Hinkley nuclear project, creating 25,000 jobs, and a possible £12 billion to help construct the HS2 high-speed rail line. In Manchester, £800 million has already been invested in a business park at the city's airport, generating more than 11,000 jobs. The Beijing company involved in that project wants reassurances from the Prime Minister before they spend any more.
We would like to hear, as a company who invested in UK, that her views and her visions of the future of UK, and also to reassure our investment is safe, and also the relationship between the two countries will continue to be good.
At this G20, hosted by China, Theresa May looks set to get a tough introduction to international diplomacy. Debbie Edward, News at 10, Hangzhou.
Well, Angus Walker is here. Angus, do you think that Theresa May is going to get anything of a red carpet or pretty much a cold shoulder?
Downing Street must be catering for a lukewarm reception because it's such a change of tone since Theresa May put Hinkley on ice. Remember George Osborne and the talk of a golden era. I remember being in Beijing and embassy officials coming up to me offering exclusive access with George Osborne at a nuclear power station. Well, Theresa May is not going to be visiting a nuclear power station in China. Remember, the Chinese do have a history of throwing an almighty sulk when they want to. David Cameron, her predecessor, frozen out for 18 months for meeting the Dalai Lama. It's not unheard of for British ministers to be shouted at. I know of one embassy official who was told by his counterpart, "We don't need to impress you." So it's
her letter being described as grovelling. I mean,
yes,
the Chinese
and
media.
It's not just the Queen who thinks Chinese party officials can be rude.
And but does China, in this kind of relationship, hold all the cards? Is it all one-way traffic? It seems to be presented as being the case.
I think they like everyone to think that way. But, you know, the deal in Manchester, the one signed in Sheffield, £1 billion worth just a few weeks ago, those deals are done. They're signed, sealed, delivered. And also, Britain offers so many bargains at the moment for Chinese billionaires. And they're not doing it for charitable purposes. They're making money. And, of course, with the pound lower at the moment, we do offer a lot of value for money as they see it. Does the government have the ability to send a signal to call us all of those billionaires off? Of course it does. But, you know, deals have been blocked in America, buying a Californian port. Deals have been blocked in Australia. Trade and business continues. What we're talking about here is sensitive infrastructure. The Chinese realise that. I mean, Theresa May has her doubts, but the Chinese have the dollars.
Angus, very, very interesting. Thank you very much indeed.
I've been getting away with it all